was going single file. Got a shell fragment about that big in the middle of his back and just knocked him dead right then. And so when we pulled out and pulled back and give the colonel hell for sending us out there anyway.
So most of the time you were, I guess, defensive, just holding a line, a position, and then waiting to see what the Germans were going to do?
Yeah. Well, we were fighting them, I mean, all the time. I mean, they, if they were on the run, we were after them.
Okay. And did you still have your half-track at this time, or were you all on foot?
Yeah, no, we had our half-track with us. But our half-track driver was fighting right along with us, I mean, and everybody else. And then, I can't remember where it was, but that was after the bulge, I think. When they started shooting artillery at us anyway, and they dropped one in and blowed the motor out of our half-track. I mean, landed on the motor and blowed it up. But we were riding half-track most of the time.
Okay. What'd you do at night? I mean, did you pitch tents or find barns?
Just rolled up in and snowbank in the bulge there. We'd just throw branches off trees down and dig into the snowbank there and just roll up in our blanket and sleep that way.
To stay warm?
Yeah, it's warm under that snow.
Okay.
A lot of guys froze their feet, but I never did. I never got frostbite or anything, and I don't know. I was shaking so damn bad I couldn't get it, I suppose.
did the because I'm assuming guys were from all over the United States.
Yeah.
Were the guys from the South that had never seen snow, or did they have problems with that?
No, I don't think I had any of those guys with me. I had a lot of Pennsylvania guys, Polish guys, Bukowski, Zabrowski.
Coal miner type guys, or from?
Yeah, some of them were. Some were from Kentucky. One of them I was on guard with him one night, and we dug a foxhole and was sitting in that and couldn't smoke. And his mammy had sent him a gallon, one of these old sorghum cans full of dried tobacco. And he was chewing that, and he said, "You just well try it." So I tried it, and I was chewing away on that thing, and here come a mortar skipping right at our foxhole. And I swallowed that, and I think I got the burn in my belly yet from that. I didn't try chewing anymore.
So what was worse, the feeling of swallowing the tobacco or seeing the mortar?
Well, it was both. Yeah.
And so I mean, did everybody pretty much got along? I mean,
oh,
everybody was scared, and
we were all in the same boat trying to survive.
Okay. How were the officers? I mean, did you have?
We get new ones about every week. We'd get there's second lieutenants that come in from the United States and have their basic training, and of course we'd start anything out, they'd say, "Follow me," like they did, where they trained them.
Yeah.
And they didn't last. I mean, we wouldn't follow them, and they'd get out there because we knew better to go out there. But these new guys had come in, and they wanted to show us how to do it. And they'd get killed or shot down anyway. I buddied up with one guy. Charlie O'Donnell was his name, and we went to quite a few battles together. And then he decided we was going out and rescue a lieutenant, and I said, "I'm not going out there. A tank had knocked him down." I said, "I'm not going out there." And he said, "Oh, let's go." And I said, "No," the guy was yelling medic all the time. So he went, but he never come back. So that's the last guy I really buddied up with. I mean, got real close with during the war then.
Was there, did you get much support from like our artillery? And I know.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had artillery with us all the time, and then we had the 82nd Airborne. They come in and filtered in with us. They'd drop in, and and filtered in with us, and they were right in there too.
Okay. Did they come in and stay within units? Like, did they stay within their own platoon, or did they?
No, they mingled. They could have had one. Now, you don't know what was going on because only in your little circle is about the only place that. Because
when you say own little circle, I mean, was it 100 yards where you guys are scattered, or 200 yards?
Yeah. We were we were probably stretched out over a mile or a mile and a half.
But beyond that, you really didn't know what was going on?
No, we didn't know what was.
Okay. I mean, did the orders come down, from battalion to company to you?
Yep, it come down that way. And some of it we ignored. You kind of use common sense. I mean, some of that come out of headquarters there didn't, they sacrificed men anyway. I mean, that was, the whole thing was.
It's dangerous. People get killed.
That's right.
And getting resupplied with ammunition and food, was that ever a problem, or?
No, we done pretty good. I mean, we run a little low on fuel a time or two, but the trucks got through finally to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you spend very long in one place, or were you always moving? Or?
We were always moving. This area here in the Bulge was where from there. Well, after we got done with the Bulge, then we went to the back to the Ruhr River Valley.
Okay.
And went through there up to the Rhine, the town of Cologne. I was one of the first ones in the town of Cologne, and we stayed at the cathedral right there on the Rhine River.
How'd you get across the Rhine?
We went on a pontoon right beside the Remagen Bridge.
The Remagen Bridge was still up?
Yeah, it was still up, but they put a pontoon bridge up right beside it.
Okay.
And we rode that across with our half tracks.
Okay.
And
I had the privilege of hearing 3 of the engineer battalion commanders that were there at Remagen, and they were putting the bridge, including bridges, including the one you went across there, and they were talking, I think, like 4 or 5 bridges eventually, but at that time, was there just one, or?
Just that one.
Okay.
Just the one that our Corps of Army Engineers stuck that up.
Okay.
And it was kind of a thrill going across on that because you were floating. I mean, it wasn't a solid bridge.
Yeah, it would wave and it would move up and down as you went across.
Yeah.
Was that the first time any of you guys had crossed one of those?
Yep, it was for me anyway.
Okay. And did you worry about it, or are you just going to go?
Nope. We were on the go.
Okay. They talked a lot about when they were building the bridges that they're getting shelled a lot because the Germans understood. Were you getting shelled when you were going across?
Yeah, and see, that was the end of the Air Force for the Germans.
Yeah.
They made their last stand there, trying to knock that bridge out. And
okay.
I remember one time they rolled a tank. The Germans had run out of fuel, but they pushed a tank into this town that we were holding, and they pushed 50 of them. Just carried it and pushed it into town. They didn't carry it, they rolled it in. And we could hear it coming. And they got too close. They were going to blow our building up that we were holding. But they got too close to the building with it when they pushed it in there, and they couldn't get the gun turned to get in there to blow it. And they kept firing anyway with it. So the lieutenant and I went out the backside, and I carried white phosphorus grenades on my belt. And we throwed that over the top of this house, and it landed on these guys, and they scattered when that white phosphorus.
As a squad leader, how conscious were you about being responsible for your
Well, you were trying to be, but actually it was thrown at you so fast that you didn't know really what your duties were. I mean, but we progressed.
Okay, I mean the way you say it, it's like you got there 3 days later, you're put in front of a squad,
Yeah.
and then pretty much you're on the go after that, and it's just doing the best you can, putting
Yeah.
one foot in front of the other, and not having much
Yeah.
time to think about, am I doing this right, am I doing this wrong? It's just I'm doing the best I can
Yeah,
and trying to
that's
stay
it.
alive.
That's and we'd convoy at night. We were on that Audubon Highway over there, going with no lights on, and all you had was a little green light on the back of the truck ahead of you. And one of them disappeared ahead of us. We stopped. Well, here was the bomb crater right in the middle of that highway, and that truck went down in there. But that was something that we were always on the lookout for. As a half-track squad leader, you stood up in there with a 50 caliber gun on a turret, and the half-track driver was looking through a peephole about that big, and if you wanted him to go right or left, you kicked him, and that was the way we maneuvered at night. The average life of a ventureman was 3 days on that front line. They were changing all the time. You're just getting new guys all the time.
And with this changeover of all these soldiers, you'd get them piecemeal. And so was there any chance to train with them or anything, or tell them to do anything, or you're too busy looking out after yourself?
Yep. Well, I mean, we'd try to get them to do whatever they'd hand out and try to tell us to do. But we were all, you might say, in a survival in that bulge there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then after we got due with the bulge, well, then we kind of got pulled back together again then. But we never did get buddied up very close to anybody then.
Did you ever have a problem with fatigue or exhaustion or lack of sleep, or you had just so much adrenaline flowing it didn't matter?
You just didn't. But you could sit down and sleep anywhere. I mean, I can still do that.
The Colne, the pictures I've seen show that it's just devastated. It had been bombed, and there's almost nothing but rubble.
Yeah, yeah. We got into Cologne, and they said you were going to have a rest. So the guys, there's a bunch of hotels and motels along the Rhine River. Well, guys got into the basements there and found all their wine and booze. So they carried that out, and we had set in the half-track like this, and 8 guys on each side or something like that. And then you had this, well, that was solid with booze that we carried out of those basements and put in there, and we're going to go back for a rest. And the old man, company commander, said, don't drink any till you get back to where you're going. Well, as soon as the column started back for the rest area, why, you'd see bottles going over the side all the time.
And they weren't full.
No. And we didn't quite get back to the rest area, and that's when they pulled us out. They got over the bridge and turned us around. Then we started going the other way, across the Rhine River. And then all we cleared was the road. We didn't, because the Germans were surrendering then. They were coming out of the hills like flies.
I mean, you guys didn't do anything. You just basically just pointed them to the rear and just let them go. And
yeah. I took care of about, I suppose 100 of them. And we found an old barn there, so we shoved them in there, and we kept shoving them up in the haymow. And we got so many up there that the floor started breaking down, so we had to quit that one and get them out of there. And then we just started sending them back. And
stuff that I've read is that towards the end of the war, they had a lot of old men and young kids. Were they what did you see? I mean, at the ages of the
We saw everything. But then we freed a prisoner of war camp. There was everything in that too. I mean, Russians and Americans.
Brits and
yeah, everything.
Okay. Was the prisoner of war camp was like all officers, or was it all enlisted, or just a whole mess of whatever?
Just throw it together. Just throw them in there.
Were they glad to be?
Oh yeah, they were. And they were making vodka out of potatoes and whatever they could steal when they get their food. They were drinking that. They handed me some of that with a tin cup, and a little bit of that on your tongue was all you needed. I mean, it was powerful.
Yeah. When you got there, were the guards there, or were the guards, ran off?
No, they'd left.
They left?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
We cleaned them out.
All right. And did the prisoners, were they well fed or taken care of, or were they?
No, they got whatever food they could get. I mean, it'd be maybe potatoes all the time or something. But I never got too well acquainted with any of the prisoners there to know what they were doing.
Okay.
Because we just moved on after we opened the gates for them and got them out of there.
Okay. So just kind of kept moving and pushing forward and
yeah.
Chasing the Germans, or were they fighting at all?
Oh yeah, you bet. They were giving up though all the way through there. But there would be a little trouble every once in a while, and they would wipe them out. And then we come into the airport there at Paderborn, Germany. And there were some anti-aircraft guns all the way around the airport there. So they sent us up there, and we couldn't get in because these anti-aircraft gun guys were shooting at us all the time. So we went back and got a tank to come up there, and he blasted into these. Well, they had dirt built up all around their anti-aircraft guns. So he started shooting into them, and them guys come out of there like flies in and give up. Well, then we thought the town was secure, so we headed off across this airport, and that's when I got hit, was going across the airport at Paderborn.
Okay, were you mounted in the half track at the time, or were you?
No, I was on foot then.
Okay.
Yeah, but and then that's the last of my fighting then.
Well, what got you?
Bullets.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were you hit?
I got hit in the arm, shattered one bone in my arm, got 2 bullets in my back, and one of them's still in there.
Okay.
It's too close to operate, they said. Damaged too many muscles to get it out of there.
Okay. So what do you remember? And you remember, when somebody came over, a medic or somebody to patch you up?
Yeah, well, it's just like somebody hit you on the arm with a 2x4. It's about what it felt like. And I dropped down into a bomb crater. We'd been bombing that airport anyway. I dropped down in there and